I want to turn it over to Bryant so he can tell us about one of our new programs that we are hoping to institute and hoping to get your participation in. You still there, Bryant?
I am there.
All right, good. Let me get off screen share. Oh, I guess you already did that.
I took care of that for you.
Okay.
I was just wondering before I get started whether the discipline or whether that lamplight discipleship thing covers someone having a baby, and if that's a legitimate excuse for him not being here
Yeah,
tonight.
I know. I'm going to charge him $25.
Charge him 25. Basically, this idea comes from Sukkot. We had a brief discussion. Brother Jackson had said something about like wanting to be able to start or study the Bible with me. I think it came out of a conversation where I had studied a couple of times with a local pastor, and that's something that also came up is that the missing the face-to-face fellowship or the time of koinonia where you can really get together with like-minded individuals. And there was a problem with having that, or a couple of people may be inhibited by having all of that televised. So we started off with just a brief discussion about it, but we were separated by distance. So how can we have a Bible study like that or a searching the scriptures time like that? And just like we were in each other's living room discussing the scriptures. So I came up with the idea to just, have a separate meeting room where two or three could gather together. And then that kind of developed from there. So the idea has now blossomed into something that would be an opportunity to develop some study materials that are not quote unquote Christian, but would be with a Hebraic mindset or a Hebraic outlook or a Yahad outlook, to encourage us to make disciples through searching the scriptures together, first within the Yahad and then by the Yahad, house to house. In the Yahad, when I say that, I'm talking about we in the initial meetings, the ones where we kind of develop the program, we share what study methods work for us, and we probably put a representation of that in the generic fill in the blank type format, so that we can make suggestions because we're not all going to not everybody wants to be ordained or not everybody gets that serious. So this would be something for just people who are part of a congregation, so to speak, and want to study the scriptures more and search the scriptures together. But basically, we gather together to share our study methods and search the scriptures and examine cross references and come up with and produce a generic format that we could use for any Bible study that we would come together or to produce, and then have it specific to the book that we are studying. And I was proposing to study first the book of Barnabas, and that would be a book one I would like to study with people who understand it, and because it's for me it's a new scripture, a new thing to look at, but have it as a collaboration in the Yahad so that we can work together to produce something. And by generic format, we're just talking about cross references, maybe some commands that we find, or some prophecy that we find, information about the writer, what's revealed about the writer, what's revealed about the recipients, that sort of thing. And people can take that as far as they want to. It's not something that they have to do. It's not required. And then we take that information and we go house to house, either in our house or in other people's houses. I've actually met with people on a electric co-op grounds, and we never asked permission whether we could go there. We just met with a group of guys because that was a central location, and we studied the scriptures together, just sitting out on their lawn. I'm a cooperative member, so they say I'm an owner, so I figured we'll just go that way. But basically, we would seek out or reveal interested people to search the scriptures together. And I put this in here as preborn, post-Christian, and then developing new Yahads. I know we generally appeal to those who would be considered post-Christian, but I think we might be leaving out those who are pre-Christian or pre-born as an opportunity to go out and make new disciples. But we gather in our home or theirs, and I do have people here in the community that we've done this with. We've had times where we've borrowed a church, or we borrowed or I went into the living room or on their deck, and have a time to study the scriptures. But basically, it's to encourage firsthand study, not to spoon feed every bit of it. And this format would be, just have the cross reference there, but not have the words there, not have much commentary there, but just people have a format to follow to study the scriptures. And this potentially could be supported by video teachings, which would be geared toward the subject or the book being studied. And there's already a lot of material that's on the Yahad website that we could develop these kind of materials separately.